Hi, and welcome to Confidence Equals Beauty with Amanda Taylor. I am your host, Amanda Taylor. Hey guys, welcome to Confidence Equals Beauty. I'm your host, Amanda Taylor, and I just want to thank you for taking time, spending time with me, and having a conversation with me. You know, this week, actually, let me backtrack. These last few weeks to months, I have actually experienced a lot of anxiety, a lot of feeling overwhelmed, just a lot of moving pieces happening. And normally I can pretty much get it under control and, push through, work through it. But I had to kind of step back and kind of reflect, okay, what's causing so much anxiety in my life? What is causing stress? What is causing me to feel overwhelmed? And I was sitting down and I started kind of making a list of kind of everything going on in the season of life I'm in. And it kind of got me thinking about you, other moms, other women, people who may feel the same way I am, just kind of in a season of a season of stress, a season of a lot happening. Like I said, a lot of moving pieces. And so this list kind of started becoming kind of a generalized list of things that we might be better off if we let go of, especially if they're not helping us. And let me kind of add, I kind of got to thinking, as a mother, as a wife, I feel a lot of times pressure that I have to be all, know all, do all, be on top of it, be completely organized, ready to go, smile on my face. I feel like everyone looks to me for answers, even though I know 100% this is not true. I have a partner, my husband, he's very on board helping me with a lot of areas, but a lot of times I feel that I'm kind of pulling the weight of everything alone. And I'm pretty sure a lot of us moms feel this way. We have to be happy and go lucky as we're driving our children to and from activities. We have to make sure we arrive on activities on time. We have to make sure activities don't overlap. We have to make sure dinner is ready. We have to make sure homework is done. We have to make sure kitchen's clean, house is tidy, laundry's folded. Everybody has their favorite stuffed animal ready and prepared for bedtime, favorite snacks. It's a lot. Time for the husband, time for friends, if we can even schedule that in. It just feels like we have this pressure of we have to be all for everybody all the time. And with that, I do believe sometimes that does definitely cause anxiety. I know it causes anxiety for me, which is probably why I've been feeling high anxiety for the last few weeks. And so I just kind of want to encourage you guys to kind of stop, look at what's going on in your life. Some things you can definitely get rid of and let go of. And then some things I know it's definitely harder. But here is a list that I kind of came up of things to let go, especially when you're overwhelmed or feeling too much pressure. So first is worrying about what has happened in the past. Now, I do this about conversations, what I should have said, what I could have said, how I didn't say what I really wanted to say, how I smiled and nodded when I should have spoke up. Maybe I should have said it that way. There's a lot of times where I'll say something and it came across not the way I wanted it to. Often snappy or rude. And I'm definitely not that kind of person, but yeah. And so I'll worry about what happened. I'll worry about, after I drop my kids off from school, did I pack their lunch? Did I make sure all food groups were in there or things? I'll think about something that happened months ago and we'll kind of stress over why the coulda, shoulda, wouldas. And so the thing I'm going to encourage you is you can't go back and you can't change anything. So worrying about what has happened in the past, I think it's a really good job to just start letting it go. Next is need to be in control of everything. Now, I don't know who can raise their hand to this, but by all means, yes, you are talking to type A, wants everything perfectly in order, wants everything to go as smoothly as possible, and wants to be in the know of everything. So when I'm involved in an activity, I want to know the ins and outs of how it operates. What happens if we have to pivot and turn? What's plan A? What's plan B? What's plan C? And the thing that I am really learning right now in my season at this moment, as I'm sitting in a parking lot, once again waiting on one of my children to finish their activities and doing this podcast recording, I am learning that I cannot be in control of everything. And I don't need to be in control of everything. There are some things that are just, I will never be able to control. And the more I try to do it, the more it stresses me out. So I'm going to encourage you, if you feel like you need to be in control of everything, relax. Delegate. Try to let other people help you. Remember, there are things you will be able to control, like how you respond to something, how you react, what you think, what you say. Those are things you can definitely control, but there's a lot of things you will not be able to control. Like, for example, I definitely cannot control my youngest child when she has her mind set on something. And sometimes I have to really put in perspective. I can't control her response, but I can control mine. So I'm just going to I just really want to encourage you. If you need to control things, please work on letting it go. The next is the idea of a perfect life. Once again, I struggle with this. I have an expectation of how I think things should look, how I think my children should act, how I think my marriage should be, how I should show up, or how my house needs to look, or how my car needs to look. There's a lot of things that I struggle with the idea of a perfect life. And reality is, nobody is perfect, and nobody ever will be perfect. And the only person I know who was perfect was Jesus Christ. And thank God for his forgiveness, and thank God for him, giving him to us so we can keep moving through life, and we are forgiven. But nobody's perfect. We can strive to be better and strive to keep working towards living happier, having, if it means, you want a perfect home, you may have to lower the standard of like, okay, I'm going to at least pick up after myself 3 times a week to get more towards the goal of a nicer looking home, but the idea of a perfect life doesn't exist, and you will continue to stress yourself out if you keep thinking your life needs to look perfect. So letting go of the fear of the unknown. This can be the scariest thing if you don't know about something coming up, or you're thinking about you want to try something, but you have no idea if you're even going to be capable of doing it. You have no idea of how it's going to turn out. The unknown is extremely scary. I will never forget when I went off to college. I didn't know what to expect on college. I didn't know what to expect to do, and the unknown of it was so scary. But as I walked through it, as I went through it with every other freshman who joined, we all figured it out eventually. So fearing the unknown just wastes a lot of energy. A lot of times when we step into the unknown, each step we do figure out what to do. What's the next step? Oh, I learned something. Okay. So stressing about stuff that you're not sure, it really does waste energy. So I'm going to encourage you, jump into it and keep taking baby steps. The next, unhealthy relationships. And we all have our story of relationships that bring us down and that causes us stress. And it's really hard to walk away and say goodbye to those unhealthy relationships. It's not something that we all like, yes, I'm going to drop this friend because they're bad for me. No, I mean, it becomes like a breakup. Or the distance, when you have to distance yourself, that becomes hard because then maybe people ask about it. And you're like, I don't know how to tell them the story or tell them what to do or tell them how it worked out. So unhealthy relationships definitely will bring you down and it will stress you out. And if you can separate, take a break, part ways, love them from a distance. That's my favorite. I will love them from a distance. And when we cross paths, I'm never going to be rude to them, but I'm just going to be very, very careful how much I let them in my life. So I'm going to encourage you, if you have unhealthy relationships that are bringing you down, causing you anxiety, causing you stress, I'm really going to encourage you to really dig in deep in the why you're keeping them in your life, and then versus what your life would look like if that unhealthy relationship is not prominent. So next, worrying about things you can't change. There are things that are going to happen. And no matter how much worrying, stress, thinking, the reality, it doesn't change. And so the energy of trying to worry about the things you can't change, it does drain you. It causes a lot of times your brain to not function like it needs to because you're constantly thinking about it or you're stressing over it and you can't move forward and looking at the things you can change because you're too worried about what you can't. So I'm going to encourage you, stop worrying about things you can't change. Do work on the things you can. Next, get rid of clothing you haven't worn in a year. Just get rid of it. Donate it. Sell it. Y'all, I walk into my closet and I get overwhelmed because I just see all this stuff. And I go through it and I'm like, I haven't worn this. I couldn't tell you when. And I just move past and move to, kind of call it like, my mom uniform. Leggings and a fitted t-shirt that's comfortable with a pair of tennis shoes. Now, I got a lot of nice clothes and I like to dress up. But in this season of life, dressing up isn't really an option when I'm going to the soccer fields. Or when I am, going from one activity to the next activity. Running around in pumps isn't going to happen. So yes, I keep them for when I can dress up. But like I said, the things that I haven't worn in a year, the things that don't fit, the things that are just taking space in the closet, that visual clutter can really, really bother you. I say work on getting rid of it. Next, overscheduling your life. Now, this is exactly what's happening in my life at this current moment. I have really overscheduled myself because I want my kids to participate in these activities. I want to participate in these activities. I didn't say no when I should have said yes, because reality, I didn't really have the time or the space in my life for whatever I put in. And when you overschedule your life, you feel like you're on the run. You're go, 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 go. And you never really can take a moment to breathe. It's, let's go to this activity. I said yes to this. Let's do this. Yes to this. Yes to this. And so as you keep overscheduling your life, you really look at it and you're like, there's no time. Well, that's because you created no time. And so it's okay to say no to people. I think people would rather hear a no than you to say yes, and you cannot be 100% effective in what you agreed to. That's what I'm learning in my season right now. There are some things that I'm not doing to my, the standard that I'd like to do them, or the standard I know I can do them at, because I am over scheduled. And so if you find yourself saying yes to a lot of things, or you find yourself saying, I'll make it work, I'll make it happen, take a step back. Look at your schedule. I tell myself this every time I do this. Do my children need to be in every single activity they want to be in? No. Do I need to tell them no? Yes. Do I need to volunteer for every volunteer opportunity that is given to me? No. Do I need to constantly be the snack mom? No. Give it to someone else. So if you find yourself, like I said, in this state of season in your life where you're overscheduled, start peeling back. When it comes to when those activities end, reevaluate. You don't have to be at everything or, be everything. Next, it's time to let go of your insecurities. Now, this is easier said than done. But whatever you're insecure about, 9 times out of 10, it's the underlying reasons you're acting and behaving and saying the things that you are saying. And when you are focusing on your insecurities, you're really wasting, once again, energy. You're wasting stress. You're wasting your time stressing over things that are actually not benefiting you at all. And so I'm going to encourage you, whatever you're feeling insecure about, start working on it. Build that up. That way it doesn't become an insecurity. Or focus on the things that you really are good at. Man, you can rock and roll when you focus on those things. Letting go of a negative body image. Previous podcast I had done was on, feeling confident in bikini. In reality, that had nothing to do with, being in a bikini. It had everything with mindset and changing different ideas on how you can be in a swimsuit or a bathing suit and still feel confident. And so if you are experiencing negative body image, find a way, talk to someone to work through that. Clutter in your home. Now, this can be very visually stressful for people. And so if you have things that you're holding on to that have no purpose, that are just adding up in the space that you currently have, it's time to get rid of it. And I know this is hard, trust me. I am a sentimental person. Everything I place an emotional value on. And so the idea of getting rid of something feels like I'm either taking a part of me away, or the significance that I put on the object is a disappointment in myself. And I know that sounds kind of crazy and weird, and it may not make sense, but definitely, like, if you have like 20 pairs of unmatching socks, well, by all means, get rid of those unmatching socks, because if you haven't found the match yet, it's just taking up space. Get rid of them. I'm a big paper person. I keep paper stuff. I encourage you, find a way to file it on a digital file, scan it. If you have to take pictures on your phone or something, just get rid of it. And that's another thing, clutter on your phone, clutter on your computer. Anywhere in your life that you feel that there is clutter, I am going to encourage you, start getting rid of it, because that will also help visually clear your mind. Next, procrastination on important things. When you procrastinate on things that are important, what happens is it's coming up, but you avoid it. But you still know it's coming up. And then the next day, you avoid it. You still know it's coming up. And all that does is create anxiety. It creates stress. If you are a procrastinator, I am going to encourage you, make a plan. And so that would look like, okay, day 1, I will do this much of the project. Day 2, this much of the project. And you keep doing it until the whole thing's done, instead of waiting until the last minute and then just trying to cram everything, to the last minute, and all you've done is stressed out and everybody around you is feeling it. Try not to procrastinate. Get a hold of it. Start doing it more. And in fact, what I've learned is the more you do it ahead of time, when it comes to the deadline, and let's say you've got it done a few days before, you can go back over it and make sure everything has been smoothed out, edited, you name it. So you're not just presenting whatever you're procrastinating on thrown together. It looks well thought out. And so I hope these tips help you. And I hope that, me being vulnerable and just kind of talking about my own personal stress and the own things that I've been, going through, I really hope that these help you out. And so you don't repeat some of the same mistakes I am doing. And like I said, a lot of this list, I admitted, I'm struggling with this. And I think it's okay to admit when you're not okay. I think it's okay to admit, okay, I did it to myself. I'm overwhelmed. But this is what I can let go of. I can let go of this, and I can let go of that, and I can clear out things so my mind feels more at ease, relaxed. I can think clear. My body isn't as tense. My anxiety is reduced, and I feel more calm. And trust me, when you're able to let go of things that are causing you stress, anxiety, you just feel so much better. And everybody around you will notice the change in you too. So shout out to the mamas right now, because like I said, I feel like this is more for you. Shout out to you guys who are rocking and rolling, making sure every scrape, boo-boo is kissed, cleaned up, bandaged. Make sure every outfit is put out, laundry folded, hopefully put away. Dishes are put away, dinner's prepared, children are where they need to be, husbands have that quality time with you. Shout out to you for being rock stars. And if you feel invisible, I want you to know you're not. You're not invisible. You may have a lot on your plate, but you're not invisible. Keep working it and keep rocking it. And remember, confidence equals beauty. If you're looking for more information to read on building confidence or just any life situations, please visit www.confidenceequalsbeauty.com. If you have any questions on any topic you want me to cover, please email me at amandarobinsontaylor@gmail.com. If you would please help me get this podcast to more people who could use the community and support, please like, follow, subscribe, and share this podcast. Also, please rate this podcast, preferably a good rating, so this podcast can reach more and more people. I want to thank you for spending your time with me, and remember, confidence equals beauty.